Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, unless of course you're new here, in which case, hi. Hello, my name is Ashley and welcome to my random little corner of the internet. As you can tell from today's title, I'm going to be showing you all the books that I bought in January and February. It's a lot. Also, I've got some sort of something going on, so I might sound a little groggy, but we're good. I have no real rhyme or reason to this haul. I think I'm going to kind of break it down of like books I bought at the thrift store, books that came out in 2021, and then Kindle books, and then like the other books. That sounds good, right? Right? Okay. There's probably 30 or so books here. That's 2 months. That's not bad, right? So, we're going to kick it off. We're going to do the books that I picked up at Goodwill, which typically means I only paid 99 cents to $3 for them. And surprisingly, I only have 4 of those. So first up, I picked up a exclusive collector's edition of The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. As far as I can tell, the only thing that makes it an exclusive collector's edition is the fact that the cover is silver. There's no extra content in it, anything like that. So, but the cover, if we can see it, yep, there is a imprint of John Green's signature, so that's kind of cool too. I only paid $1.99 for this one, so that's cool. Then I got Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. This is a book that she released last year, I believe. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And it is a personal development book, basically getting out of your own way and achieving your goals. And the fact that I found it at Goodwill for only, I think this one was also $1.99, is awesome. I have her other one, the Girl Wash Your Face, and I enjoyed it immensely. So, and then unfortunately I've got Target stickers, because again, you find it at Goodwill, you've got random things on it. So. Then I have Gathering Blue by Lois Lowry, which is the sequel to The Giver, or follow-up to The Giver. And up until a few years ago, I didn't know that existed. I just thought it was The Giver, and then we were done, and then you were left, you know, with a question of what happened at the end of The Giver. If you read The Giver, you know what I'm talking about. But no, we have Gathering Blue. It says, left orphaned and physically flawed in a civilization that shuns and discards the weak, Kira faces a frighteningly uncertain future. Her neighbors are hostile, and no one but a small boy offers to help. When she's summoned to judgment by the Council of Guardians, Kira prepares to fight for her life, but the Council, to her surprise, has plans for her. Blessed with an almost magical talent that keeps her alive, the young girl faces new responsibilities and sets in a set of mysteries deep within the world, the only world she has ever known. On her quest for truth, Kira discovers things that will change her life and world forever. I don't know what that has to do with Gathering Blue. But, yes. Again, I think 99 cents because it's a paperback. And then the last book that I picked up at Goodwill was the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society. I seen the movie, never read the book. The movie was adorable. I absolutely loved it. Basically, it's 1946, and it says, January 1946, writer Juliet Ashton receives a letter from a stranger, a founding member of the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. And so it begins a remarkable tale of the island of Guernsey, which I might be saying wrong, I don't know, during the German occupation and of a society as extraordinary as its name. And you find out at the very, very beginning why it's called the Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society is that during that time period, gatherings weren't supposed to be happening, and so they lied and said they were taking a sick friend meals or something like that. I don't know. It's really cute. They did really well with the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I haven't read the book. The movie could have been terrible compared to the book. I don't know, but I got it, and I'm going to read it. So here we go. The one book that I got from a book box was the one that I got in the winter edition of the Lit Joy Crate box. If you saw my last video, you'll know what it is. But It's This Golden Flames by Emily Victoria, and it's got sprayed edges, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's got beautiful end pages. The book cover itself is like this plum color with golden writing and a reversible dust jacket, because Literary Crate always does reversible dust jackets, as well as, I get to it, a signed extra little page in there. And this one, I'll just read the synopsis again. Orphaned and forced to serve her country's ruling group of scribes, Karis wants nothing more than to find her brother, long ago shipped away. But family bonds don't matter to the scriptorium, whose sole focus is unlocking the magic of an ancient automaton army. In her search for her brother, Karis does the seemingly impossible. She awakens a hidden automaton. Intelligent with a conscience of his own, Alex has no idea why he was made, or why his father, their nation's greatest traitor, once tried to destroy the automatons. Suddenly, the scriptorium isn't just trying to control Karis, it's hunting her. Together with Alex, Karis must find her brother and the secret that's held their country in its power for centuries. Sounds really cool. Alrighty. Let's do, next up, I bought 2 copies of Stalking Jack the Ripper. For Christmas, my cousin bought me the second, third, and fourth book in the series, and wasn't aware that he didn't get the first book, because for Christmas we like draw names for the adults, and so that as an adult you're only getting for one other adult, and then we all buy for the kids kind of thing. And so he drew my name, and he asked for what I wanted for Christmas, and I sent him my wish list. And so he did awesome and got second and third and fourth book, but didn't get the first one. And so I went and won 8 books and tried to get the first book. They didn't tell me what I was getting was the mass market paperback. I don't like it. It's too small. The print is so tiny. I don't like mass market paperback. It's not fun. So I went and found a new edition of floppy paperback Stalking Jack the Ripper. And this one, obviously, it follows a girl. It says, I was the girl who loved the Ripper. He murdered women in cold blood. He terrorized an entire city. He taunted those of us who hunted him down. And despite all those stories, in the end, I could not deny it. I was the girl who loved the Ripper. I mean, if you've been anywhere on BookTube or anything like that, you know about this. I remember getting it as soon as it came out years ago. And this was before Hurricane Harvey happened. And it had been in my car. I think I read maybe the first chapter. It had been in my car flooded, I lost it. Oh well. I have it again. It's great, and I will read it and the whole series. I get to read this next month. It's part of my TBR. Next up, I'm going to do the books that were released in 2021, so like the brand new releases, I think at the end. So next up, I bought the box set of the Shadow and Bone trilogy because we're getting a Netflix series and I have never read these books. So I do want to read them before, at least the first one, before the Netflix series comes out. That way I know what's going on, because I think I've talked about this in other videos. I cannot watch something and then read it, even though I just talked about the Potato Peel Society and I was going to try to do that, but it's been long enough since I've seen the movie. I am terrible about going back and reading it, because then my imagination can't work because it's seeing what was in the movie, and then yeah, I don't know. So, Shadow and Bone trilogy. Biggest pet peeve though is that I get these and they're beautiful and they're shiny and they're gold foiling, and then bam, it doesn't come off. It's stuck. And do you have that? Is that a pet peeve of yours? Like, they could have stuck it on the back. They could have stuck it like right here. Bam, we're making a Netflix series. It'd have been fine. But why? And trust us, those of us who care already know that it's happening. Have you watched the trailer yet? Alrighty, next up, I got Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. I got this in the mail yesterday. I also went to Barnes & Noble yesterday, and yeah, they had a copy that was signed at Barnes & Noble. No price difference, no nothing like that. and I'm a little sad that I didn't pick it up because that would have been really cool to have a book signed by Marissa Meyer. Marissa Meyer is my favorite author. I'm going to read you the blurb, or the synopsis, that's the word. Chronic overachiever Prudence Daniels is always quick to cast judgment on the lazy, rude, and arrogant residents of her coastal town. Her dreams of karmic justice are fulfilled when, after a night out with her friends, she wakes up with a sudden ability to cast instant karma on those around her. Prue giddily makes use of the power, punishing everyone from public vandals to mean gossips, but there is one person on whom her powers constantly backfire, Quint Erickson, her slacker of a lab partner. Quint is annoyingly cute and impressively noble, especially when it comes to his work with the rescue center for local sea animals. When Prue resigns herself to working at the rescue center for extra credit, she begins to uncover truths about baby otters, environmental upheavals, and romantic cross signals, not necessarily in that order. Her newfound karmic insights reveal how thin the line is between virtue and vanity, generosity and greed, love and hate, and fate. Marissa Meyer also just announced that this book has been optioned by HBO Max to become a TV series, so yay! So that's going to be awesome. However, if you're going to be doing Marissa Meyer's, give us a Lunar Chronicles series. That would be great. Alrighty, we'll put that one down. Next up, I picked up Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I honestly have no idea what this book is about, but I've seen it all over BookTube and Book Talk and Bookstagram and book this and book that, and everybody talks so highly of it, and clearly it's gotten many awards. So I'm just going to read the back of it. It says, Dante can swim, Ari can't. Dante is articulate and self-assured. Ari has a hard time with words and suffers from self-doubt. Dante gets lost in poetry and art. Ari gets lost in thoughts of his older brother who is in prison. Dante is fair-skinned. Ari's features are much darker. It seems that a boy like Dante, with his open and unique perspective on life, would be the last person to break down the walls that Ari has built around himself. But against all odds, when Ari and Dante meet, they develop a special bond that will teach them the most important truths of their lives and help define the people they want to be. But there are big hurdles in their way, and only by believing in each other and the power of their friendship can Ari and Dante emerge stronger on the other side. Okay, I mean, I can see it's going to be good. There's a lot of, this book is landed on a lot of people's, like, books you need to read in your lifetime. So, I'm excited for that. Alrighty. Next up, I got This Is How We Fly by Anna Mariano. You can already tell. We got some real-life Quidditch. Even at the top it says Quidditch isn't just for wizards. This book came out last year and immediately intrigued me just purely because it's about people playing Quidditch in the real world. So it says, 17-year-old vegan feminist Ellen Lopez Rourke has just one muggy Houston summer left before college. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that. The main character's from Houston. There's another book that I bought purely because the main character's from Houston. Well, that was like the tipping point. I am from a small town just outside of Houston, Texas. So if I find books where characters are from Houston, I'm like, I need it. I need that book. So the fact that Ellen is also from Houston. It says she has plans to spend every last moment with her two best friends, Zia, I'm going to say Zia, and Melissa before they leave for opposite ends of Texas. But when Ellen is grounded for the entire summer by her sometimes evil stepmother, any best friend bonding seems hopeless. Determined to find a loophole, Ellen, with the help of Melissa, convinces her parents to let her join the local Muggle Quidditch team. An all-gender, full-contact game, Quidditch isn't quite what Ellen expects. There's no flying, no magic, just a bunch of scrappy players holding PVC pipes between their legs. Suddenly, Ellen is thrown into the world of sports. Her life is all practices, training, and running with a group of Harry Potter fans. Even as Melissa pulls away to pursue new relationships, and Zia seems more interested in moving on from high school and high school friendships, Ellen starts to find a place among her new teammates. Maybe Quidditch is where she belongs. With her home life and friend troubles quickly spinning out of control, Ellen must fight for the future that she wants now that she's playing for keeps. It just sounds really cute. Oh, am I done making this? This book is white with gold. Super cute. I don't know why, like, I've gotten a couple, none in this stack, one other in this stack, where, like, the naked book is white, and it scares me, because it just means they're going to get dirty, but they're just so beautiful. Alrighty, next up I did get a copy of The House in the Cerulean Sea. This is another book that I have heard so many good things about, that is just so beautifully written. I've also just heard good things about TJ Klune, which I've never read anything by him, but it's going to be exciting. I got it in paperback purely because Barnes & Noble didn't have it in hardback. But yeah. So it says, Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the Department of Charge of Magical Youth. At 40, he lives in a tiny house with a devious cat and his old records for company, but his quiet life is about to change. Linus is summoned by extremely upper management and given a curious and highly classified assignment: travel to an orphanage on a distant island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they're likely to bring around the end of days. When Linus arrives at the strangest of islands, he's greeted by a series of mysterious figures, the greatest mystery of which is Arthur, Parnassus, the master of the orphanage. As Linus and Arthur grow closer, Linus discovers the master would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world has to burn. Or worse, his secret comes to life. The House in the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story, masterfully told, about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours. So I'm really getting like Umbrella Academy mixed with Series of Unfortunate Events, but like positively. Like both of those movies, or both of those series, are kind of like these kids are adopted, or they live in an orphanage, or something happens, everything's like tragic, except for them being dangerous. I mean, like, it kind of seems like it's gonna have a positive spin on it, and everything I've heard is this book is just beautifully written. This is another pet peeve I know that other book owners have. I don't mind it much, but like the cover being shorter than the rest of the book, I'm not sure what's going on there, but alrighty, next up, I did this. I get a lot of my books on Abe Books, so I guess it's kind of thrifting because they are typically cheaper than buying them full price off of Amazon or something, but I don't always know what I'm getting. Like when I purchased the Stalking Jack the Ripper, I didn't know that I was going to get a mass market paperback. In this case, I got Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. I did not know that I'd be getting the Owlcrate edition, so it is signed. And the Owlcrate edition was, it did not come with a dust jacket. It's just a beautiful, naked book. And it's gorgeous. So I don't have any synopsis to read for you. I can just read the back that says, "The stage is set, the spectacle awaits." I don't remember fully what this book is about, but I know that it's set, I think, in like the 20s and has a very Caraval vibe to it, I believe. Yeah. But it's also just really pretty. So, excited about that one. I'm excited about all of them, but I'm going to keep saying it. Alrighty, next up, because I have already talked about my love for Marissa Meyer, I had to pick up Wire and Nerf, so I have both volumes of Wire and Nerf. This Wires and Nerf. Multiple wires, one Nerf. It's a graphic novel by Marissa Myers, and it follows Aiko, the android that Cinder owns in the Luna Chronicles. And it follows them and the fight to bring back all of the wolfish creatures, characters, people, whatever, back to Lunar in order to kind of try to fix everything that Levana messed up in the Lunar Chronicles. And so they were really fun. I have already read them. They were really fun because I enjoy graphic novels, and the style of the art was really nice. Alright, so next up I got A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. It does follow, it says, "You've never seen Watson and Holmes like this before." They are descendants of John Watson and Sherlock Holmes. The back says, "The last thing Jamie Watson wants is a rugby scholarship to Sherringford, a Connecticut prep school just an hour away from his estranged father. But that's not the only complication. Sherringford is also home to Charlotte Holmes, the famous detective's great-great-great-granddaughter, who has inherited not only Sherlock's genius but also his volatile temperament. From the moment they meet, there's a tense energy between them. They seem more destined to be rivals than anything else, but when Sherringford's student dies under suspicious circumstances, ripped straight from the most terrifying of the Sherlock Holmes stories, Jamie can no longer afford to keep his distance. Jamie and Charlotte are being framed for murder. Equal parts tender, thrilling, and hilarious, A Study in Charlotte is the first in a trilogy brimming with wit and edge of the seat suspense. So it is a trilogy, but I only got the first book, so that should be fun. Plus, it's really cute, like the coloring of the cover, and then like there's like a snake coming out of the purse, and then they're investigating this tree. I don't know. It's also just a really pretty book. So, alrighty, next up I got Red, White, and Royal Blue. I do have this on my Kindle, and that's how I read it last year. But Walmart had like this display of Valentine's books, and this was there, and they had it on sale for like $8 or something like that, and I had to get it because this was one of my top reads last year. I absolutely adored this story. We follow Alex, whose mom is the President of the United States, and Henry, who is the Crown Prince of England, and it's very much enemies to lovers. They've grown up hating each other, pretty much being rivals, because their families are heads of state, and they have interacted quite a bit over the course of their life, but then lines get crossed and things change, and maybe hate isn't hate anymore. I love this book so much. Alrighty, and then we got Mistress of Evil, or Mistress of All Evil, by Serena Valentino, and this is basically just the backstory of Maleficent. I'm pretty certain it's told differently than the movies starring Angelina Jolie that are awesome, but it says the tale is told as if it's happening once upon a dream. The lovely maiden meets her handsome prince. The story has been told many times and in many ways, but always the maiden learns she is a princess, one who has been cursed by a dark fairy to fall into an eternal sleep. Though her 3 good fairies try to protect her, the princess succumbs to a curse, but the power of good endures as her prince defeats the fire-breathing dragon and awakens her with true love's kiss. Yet, this is only half the story. What of the dark fairy Maleficent? Why does she curse the innocent princess? Many tales have tried to explain her motives. Here is one account, pulled from those passed down through the ages. It is a tale of love and betrayal, of magic and reveries. It is a tale of the mistress of all evil. And I believe this is a Disney, like from Disney Productions or something like that. Yeah, from Disney Enterprises, because clearly it's the actual animated version of Maleficent. So it is connected to Disney. So, alrighty, next up we have Geekerella by Ashley Poston. It is a very loose Cinderella type story. I don't like the Cinderella story. Like the premise of it, like this girl is nothing, and then suddenly she meets the prince or the famous person or whatever it is, and they connect. They have a connection, but then suddenly he doesn't know who she is and has to use her shoe to find her, and what? Like, how is... I don't know. But I did love this book. I loved this book so much. It was one of my favorite reads last month, because I did read it in January. It was great. So we follow... I gotta remember names. I'm terrible at remembering names. We have Elle Whittimer, and she is this super fan of a show called Starfield. And then we have Darian Freeman, who has been casted as the lead actor in the remake that they're making of Starfield. And Elle is not happy about it, because Darian is this very pretty boy soap opera actor, and she doesn't think that he can do the role justice, and so things happen, but then she mysteriously starts texting this person, so it's very You've Got Mail too, because they start texting and they don't realize that they're texting each other, like that they don't know. Darian knows obviously who he is, and Elle is also, she's been writing these slander pieces on her blog about Darian and how he's not going to be great at this role. So Darian doesn't know he's texting Elle, and Elle doesn't know she's texting Darian, but then they meet, and the normal Cinderella story. Obviously, they're going to end up together in the end. But it was really cute. There's cosplay and fan expos, and yeah, right up my line. But also glittery words. Alrighty. Next up is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I finished reading this literally right before I started filming this. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and we follow Roma Montagov, who is the head of the White Flowers, which is a Russian gang in Shanghai, as well. And then on our other side, we have Juliet Tsai, who is the heir to the Scarlet Gang, which is the actual, like, the Chinese gang there in Shanghai. And it takes place in the 1920s, and they obviously start, opposite gangs and everything like that, and they fell in love when they were younger, each other's first love, and then things happened because they were in rival gangs, but then they're brought back together because something supernatural is happening in Shanghai, and lots of people are dying, and so then they have to come back together, and that's we get even more Romeo and Juliet vibes. But it was, I'm going to have another review either on my Bookstagram or maybe in a video when I do a wrap-up. I almost didn't finish it, but I refused to DNF a book because you never know how it's going to end, and I loved the ending. The ending was fantastic. So, here we go. Alright, next up we have Legendborn by Tracy Dion. Absolutely beautiful cover. Very magical looking. It says, after her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape, until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called Legendborn students who hunt the creatures down. And a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts, and fails, to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic, and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if that means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and their reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and explain that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she will go for the truth and whether she should use her magic to take the society down or join the fight. That's really cool. So we've got, like, King Arthur vibe, like, okay, I like it. See, I can tell you synopses of books that I've already read and, like, shrink it down, and other ones I'm like, I know vaguely what they are about, but they've been so highly recommended that I grabbed them. This is another highly, highly recommended book, and I remember it had something to do with magical and King Arthur, and that was about it. But after reading that synopsis, that sounds amazing, so. Alrighty, and then next up we have Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. Main reason I picked it up is because it's a pretty cover. Like, the letters are shiny and everything like that. It says, for Penny Lee, high school was a total non-event. Her friends were okay, her grades were fine, and while she'd somehow landed a boyfriend, they never managed to know much about each other. Now Penny is headed to college in Austin, Texas, another reason I picked it up, to learn how to become a writer. It's 79 miles and a zillion light years away from everything she can't wait to leave behind. Sam's stuck. Literally, figuratively, emotionally, and financially. He works at a cafe and sleeps there too, on a mattress on the floor of an empty storage room upstairs. He knows that this is a god-awful chapter of his life that will serve as inspiration when he's a famous movie director. But right now, this second, the $17 in his checking account and his dying laptop are really testing him. When Sam and Penny cross paths, it's less meet-cute and more of a collision of unbearable awkwardness. Still, they swap numbers and stay in touch via text, and soon become digitally inseparable, sharing their deepest anxieties and secret dreams without the humiliating weirdness of having to, see each other. Just reading the synopsis, I already feel like I'm going to connect with these characters. I don't like people, and being out in the world just makes me very anxious. I can talk to you guys, because you're on the other side of a computer. But, yeah. So, it definitely falls under the category of, like, maybe friends to lovers. It is a romance I get distracted by shiny objects. But yeah, so we've got emergency contact. Alrighty, and then I picked up Through the Dark by Charity she gonna shoot me. Brandsma? Yeah. Charity is somebody that I follow on Bookstagram, and so this is a self-published book called Through the Dark, and it says, 4 kingdoms, 1 prophecy, and a race to save lives. And either her or one of her beta readers calls it Divergent meets Lord of the Rings in this fantasy filled with magic. For hundreds of years, the kingdom of Amarantha was weighted... Hold on. Since I don't know how to pronounce that, let me just go to the pronunciation guide. Thank you, Charity. We have a pronunciation guide and a map, which are both fantastic. So it is exactly what I said, Amarantha. So, for hundreds of years, the kingdom of Amarantha has waited for the heir of the prophecies, condemning their most promising royals to a sinister testing day through the Gyre Forest. As Micalthea prepares for her own test, everything begins to unravel. Her maid begins to show signs of having the ancient magic in her veins. A legendary botany warrior descends the mountain to appear at her testing day ball, and the northern Bren's kingdom makes a shocking declaration that may catapult the lands into chaos. Can Micalthea ascend the throne as queen and save the land of Errol Haran from utter destruction, or will she lose the race against time and condemn them all? Sounds awesome. And the second book in the series, actually I think it's just going to be a duology, is called Into the Light, and it is going to be releasing in a few months, so that's really exciting. I'm going to have to read this one before I pick up that one too. Charity's really sweet too. I'm going to link her Instagram in the description below. Alright, and then the last book that I have before I get into the 2021 releases is this beautiful copy of Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. I wasn't going to pick it up. I was headed to the checkout counter at Barnes & Noble, and they had a table that said $8, like, collections, and so yeah. So I picked up a Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. I am ready to rock my 8-year-old's world when she realizes that some of her favorite Disney movies don't actually end in happy endings. Maybe I should wait until she's not 8. Alrighty, getting into the 2021 releases. The first book that I got was Wings of Ebony by J.L. This is the book that I said that the main character is from Houston, Texas. This was a nice surprise. I did not know that when I got it, I ordered it off Amazon, that it would be signed. And she signed it with a gold Sharpie, so that's beautiful. It says, Rue's family is her whole life. Her sister, Tasha, moms, and the play aunties and cousins who live in East Row, the Houston neighborhood she calls home, as her world. Are her world. But it is upended when the unthinkable happens. Moms is murdered, and Rue is snatched away by a father who abandoned her at birth. A father who now insists she follow him to his home, Gizon, a secret country of gods who wield a magical power. In Gizon, Rue's existence is a crime. There's never been a half-god, half-human there, where leaders protect their magical powers at all cost and thrive on human suffering. Miserable and desperate to see her sister on the anniversary of their mother's death, Rue breaks Gizon's most sacred law. She returns to Houston only to discover black kids are being forced into crime and violence, and Tasha is in danger of falling away to the very forces that claimed her mother's life. Worse still, evidence mounts that the evil plaguing East Row is the same one that lurks in Gizon, an evil that will stop at nothing until it has stolen everything from her. Rue must embrace her true identity and wield the full magnitude of her ancestors' powers to save her hood before the gods burn it to the ground. But how can she pull it off when the enemy is everywhere? And it's shiny and pretty. The Naked Book has these beautiful wings on the cover. The black one, or the gold on black, is just stunning with these bright yellow end pages to match the hot pink. Alrighty, next up I got A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I'm not going to read you a synopsis of this one because it is the final book in a trilogy of the Cursebreakers trilogy, which is a Curse So Dark and Lonely and a Heart So Fierce and Broken. I have already read this book, and it was great. It was a great way to wrap up the trilogy, but I am not going to talk about it much because, like I said, Need to read the other two. I will tell you though that it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling if you haven't read the other two. And I love Beauty and the Beast. It's my favorite story, so really loved this book. Alrighty, next up is Bedazzled by Ryan LaSala. I first saw this book as a books that are releasing in February. I think it was released at the beginning of the month. On TikTok. Anyways, I just saw the cover and I was like, I need to have this. It's so cute. Like, it literally, like, everything looks beaded. It's not, obviously. And then, like, his name looks like it's stitched in. It says, sometimes a breakup is your chance to break out. So, initially it was a cover by, and then I read the synopsis. Rafi has a passion for bedazzling. Not just bedazzling, but sewing, stitching, draping, and pattern making for creation. He's always chosen his art over everything and everyone else, and is determined to make his mark at this year's biggest cosplay competition. If he can wow there, it can lead to sponsorship, then art school, and finally earning real respect for his work. There's only one small problem. Rafi's ex-boyfriend Luca is his main competition. Rafi tried to make it work with Luca. They almost made the perfect team last year after serendipitously meeting in the rhinestone aisle at the local craft store. At least, Rafi thought they did. But Luca's insecurities and Rafi's insistence on crafting perfection caused the relationship to crash and burn. Now, Rafi is after the perfect comeback, one that Luca can't ruin. But when Rafi is forced to partner with Luca on his most ambitious build yet, he'll have to juggle unresolved feelings for the boy who broke his heart and his own intense self-doubt to get everything he ever wanted, choosing his art his way. And then the naked book is just black silver writing. I have immense respect for the cosplay community. I might be able to throw together an outfit out of normal things that I own or can quickly buy and throw together a cosplay, but people who can spend hours creating a costume from scratch are just phenomenal. So if you're part of the cosplay community, just know that you have my utmost respect for your talent. Even if you're like, oh, but it sucks, it's not screen accurate or it's not book accurate, who cares? It's still wonderful. Alrighty, next one up is this beauty, The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. Again, we got some silver writing, right? Silver? Gold? Silver. Silver writing on black. And at some point I put the sleeve back on upside down. So 16-year-old Decca lives in fear in anticipation of the blood ceremony that will determine whether she becomes a member of her village. Already different from everyone else because of her unnatural intuition, Decca prays for red blood so that she can finally feel like she belongs. But on the day of the ceremony, her blood runs gold, the color of impurity. Wouldn't gold not be impure? Gold seems like it's pure, but anyways. And Decca knows she will face a consequence worse than death. Then a mysterious woman comes to her with a choice: stay in the village and submit to her fate, or leave to fight for the emperor and an army of girls just like her. They are called Alaki, near mortals with rare gifts, and they are the only ones who can stop the empire's greatest threat. Knowing the dangers that lie ahead, yet yearning for acceptance, Decca decides to leave the only life she's ever known. But as she journeys to the capital to train for the biggest battle of her life, she discovers that the great walled city holds many surprises. Nothing and no one are quite what they seem to be, not even Decca herself. In this bold, immersive fantasy, a young heroine fights to save a world that would dare to tame her and discover that she is her own fiercest weapon. And Decca is just beautiful. I assume this is Decca, and she is gorgeous. Alrighty, the last up on the books that I have physical copies of. I was so excited when I saw this at Barnes & Noble yesterday because I've been trying to get it since it released, and Amazon keeps being sold out. And I don't get Fairy Loot or Owlcrate, and they had beautiful editions. If anybody in the that's watching this wants to sell me their Fairy Loot copy of this book, I would be super happy. Just try not to charge me $100 for it like people on Mercari are. I got really sad when I found it on Mercari and one was $80 and one was $95. But anyways, talking about lore by Alexandra Bracken. The normal edition of the book is absolutely gorgeous. It is another white book with gold letters. So stunning, stunning. And we have a map. Everybody loves a good map. It says, every 7 years the Agon begins. As punishment for the past rebellions, 9 Greek gods are forced to walk the earth as mortals. They are hunted by the descendants of ancient bloodlines, all eager to kill a god and seize their divine power and immortality. Long ago, Lord Perseus fled that brutal world, turning her back on the hunt's premises of eternal glory after her family was murdered by a rival line. For years, she pushed away any thought of revenge against the man, now God, responsible for their deaths. Yet, as the next hunt dawns over New York City, 2 participants seek her out. Castor, a childhood friend Laura believed to be dead, and Athena, one of the last of the original gods, now gravely wounded. The goddess offers Laura an alliance against their mutual enemy and a way to leave the Agon behind forever. But Laura's decision to rejoin the hunt, binding her fate to Athena's, will come at a deadly cost, and it may not be enough to stop the rise of a new god with the power to bring humanity to its knees. I love Greek mythology. I named my daughter Artemis for that reason. That one. Her name is Artemis because we love Greek mythology. So this book just sounds awesome. It's kind of like Greek mythology mixed with Hunger Games. Sounds fun. But if you've seen anybody unboxing the Fairy Loot edition of this book, it's even more beautiful than this one already is. Alrighty, so next up I'm going to get into all of the Kindle editions of books that I've bought. If you don't know, Amazon every single day has different daily deals where things go on sale, and Kindle books are no exception. Every single day there is a new set of books. Some are really awesome. Some are just like random books that you never know could surprise you and be really, really awesome. But every so often they do have very popular mainstream titles that are on sale. There is one on here that is not that case. I bought a quart of Silver Flames on my Kindle edition because I don't know if I want that cover on my shelf right now. I have all of the original covers, and I don't want to buy that one until I can afford to buy the whole series with the new covers. It is what it is. Also, my tablet is, my Kindle is currently dead, so I'm not going to be able to read you like the actual synopsis of any of these books, but most of you in the book community know what A Quart of Silver Flames is. It is the 5th book in the ACOTAR series, but this time we do follow Nessa and Cassian, so it's going to be super fun. Next up I bought Shadows Between Us, which has been marketed as a Slytherin enemies to lovers story, and it's also just beautiful. I also picked up Cemetery Boys. It's another book that I have already actually read. I think these I'm just going to list off because I can't read you a synopsis and my brain is terrible at remembering things. Next up I bought Leia by Claudia Gray. It's the story about Princess Leia. And then I got Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Then From Blood and Ash, sorry. Again, this book has just been highly, just recommended by everybody and so highly talked about that I have to get my hands on it. City of Brass, again, another one that I have several people on Bookstagram that are like, no, you need to read this. Then I have Long Tales, Storms of Spring by Jason Headley. If you've watched any of my other videos, my wrap-ups from last year, Jason is phenomenal. If you're on TikTok or Bookstagram, you probably know him as Easy Cat, and he's great, and this book was just so cute. And then the last 2 that I picked up are Straight Until Morning and Part of Your World. These books are part of the Twisted Tale series by Disney, where it takes a story that we already know and twists it as a what-if scenario. So Straight Until Morning is a Peter Pan retelling twist, and Part of Your World is obviously The Little Mermaid. So, as I sit here with this mountain of books around me, that is going to wrap up this video. Whew! Let's see. I'm never going to put a book ban, like a book buying ban on myself because there's just no point. So, what is the favorite, let's end this video with what was the favorite book that you have purchased, if you've purchased anything in these first 2 months of 2021. What was your favorite book so far? And that is going to wrap us up today. So, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the big thumbs up button as well as that big subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are always notified every time that I upload. And until next time, bye!